Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice, where bathing in a tub filled with M&Ms is a daily occurrence. Don't believe me? Check Instagram. It's enough to make a priest tremble with lust. And yes, you thought the M&Ms were irrelevant to the introduction of the song, but I brought it back to what Hellfire is really about: desire. And right now, I'm going to give in to my desire to hear how VoicePlay has taken one of the most epic songs ever released by Disney and made it better. Let's get to it.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her.
This is just, it's a delight from the very, very beginning. I love the way whenever I start a VoicePlay song, it's almost like sniffing the aroma of a beautiful glass of wine. It's like you get one whiff and you know that this is going to be an amazing experience. It's just from the very beginning, I have prickles all over my body, prickles in my ears. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's delightful. Back to the beginning. Ooh, back, beginning, back.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud.
When I heard that they were doing Hellfire, I thought immediately, of course, Jeff is going to sing the priest, right? Frollo. It's a bassy kind of sound. It's very, very big, thick. And then I thought, oh, are they going to hand that off? Because I know that they're featuring Jay Nunn in this, so we'll see where that goes. But it makes sense, except for he's actually slimmed his voice down a little more here. It's got a little more of a pop tilt in the stylization. He does these creaks into the sound, I think more than the original man who sang the priest did. And the original sound actually had like a little more dome and a little more classical vibe in it, right? I think maybe that's because they were really going for that sort of dark, kind of dark drama approach. And here, there's a leanness to Jeff's sound that I wasn't expecting.
Beata.
Except, of course, that first note, the bassy, he can't help but be bassy.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much.
I love the lift on Maria. He does something that sometimes we'll call bridging or scanning, where essentially we're going over what might have been a rest, maybe even a potential breath, but we just carry that energy through to the next line. It's really smart to do that, just to keep your audience hooked with you the whole time.
Beata Maria, you know I'm so much.
Right. It's such a lovely little detail to continue to string us along.
Beata Maria, you know I'm so much.
And then the other thing I just love here is I get such a kick when we get these sort of percussive vocal sounds where you have a quicker attack on the actual pitch. It sounds almost like little raindrops falling. Doo, doo, doo. It's a beautiful texture, which is one of the main ways that I think a cappella groups today, how you can hear somebody separated out as being really excellent versus like just pretty good. It's when there's a huge variety of textures that the voices behind the main are able to create. We go through different chapters in sound when we have a really excellent group. And when it's a group that's pretty good, you just get like some really, really great singing, but not necessarily that full swath of textures available.
Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata.
Like even just taking that moment before we go into the doo-doo-doo, the reverb and the sound on that made it feel like it was so wide. It really felt like those dark voices in the original Disney scene. And it felt expansive and dark, just the total opposite of what we get right afterwards.
I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her.
Oh, wow. That was so strange. And I feel her, I see her. I thought it was a different singer. I didn't think it was Jeff for a second there. And that might have been because it looked like we cut to Lane singing the lead, but it was such a smooth transition off. If I didn't actually see their faces when there was a line delivered, I don't know that I would have known that it had switched. That's impressive.
Maria,
Lane's got definitely like more of a little more nasality in his sound. It's got more focus right here. It can drive really well.
Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there.
And there's more roundness than on Jeff's sound.
Eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her.
Yeah, that I feel her, I see her. I feel like there actually are a few different guys in VoicePlay that would match that tone potentially. So that's really, really cool. Beautiful adjustments there, y'all. That was nice.
I feel her, I see her. The sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Burn it. Like fire, hellfire, there's fire in my skin. It's burning, desire is turning
It's not. I was thinking, oh my gosh, the way that this whole thing has been structured since the beginning is it actually seems like Jeff was keeping the sound leaner, and then I loved that burn it transition. That was like just shout out to arranging with that as a turning point. Such a cool idea. And then I love the way it, like, overall the sound started higher and leaner, and then we got thicker and thicker and thicker. And I started thinking in this last section, are we gonna drop super low at the end? Question mark, and delivered. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go back a little bit. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, guys. Just that harmony and the blend of the voice is beautiful.
The sun caught in her raven hair is
I love your voices together.
me out of all control. Burn it.
So almost that whole time we've had very, very little bass. There was a very light bass line that I heard enter in at one point. But then right here we really finally get the boom. And you almost don't miss it until that point, and then you realize that something has been empty all along.
Out of all control. Burn it. Like fire, hellfire, there's fire in my skin. It's burning, desire is turning red. It's not my fault.
Gosh. I think that that's a subharmonic that Jeff just hit there, but I'm not 100% sure. It is rumbly. I've been totally blown away by Jeff's voice multiple times now, because he's able to actually blend his lowest, I would say like a full voice register, where it's really a lot of TA engagement and nothing in the way of false folds that are engaging. So mechanically, that'd be like a chest voice. He's able to bring it down so very far, and even start to get into like a little bit of pulse register, but mechanically still the same stuff is happening as chest. And he gets down low, 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 and then when he switches over to subharmonics, can actually be masked by the way he's shaping the tone around it. I know I think he's got to be the only person I've ever heard that can mask the switch like that. So when I say I think that's subharmonics, I can tell you that I'm pretty sure it is, but he has surprised me before and said, actually, no, that was that I didn't drop into subharmonics. I trust what he experiences in his voice way more than any ears out there. So the sort of the big difference here is that if he's dropping into a subharmonic pitch, that means that he's singing a pitch with his true vocal folds. They're going wacka, 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 wacka. And his false folds, which are on top of his true folds, they're called the ventricular folds sometimes, or vestibular as well, false folds, okay. They are going exactly half as slow, half as fast, I guess is the right way to say it, half as fast as the true folds are going. And this cuts the pitch in half. It drops it down an extra octave. It's kind of nuts. It's the same sort of mechanics that you'll see in tube and throat singing when we're talking about the low notes, not the crazy high overtones, okay? That is such a cool technique. I love hearing how it's brought into the fold here with VoicePlay. And I just love hearing how he disguises that so well with other registers. It's insane. So I'm going to go back one more time. This was really, really nicely designed overall, that drop down.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame.
Ellie just kills it every time. Well, okay, I'll be honest. All of them kill it every time. This is why I keep coming back to VoicePlay again and again. This is why I'm a patron of VoicePlay. I just believe in what they're doing. It's incredible. And yes, when I get those patron invitations saying oh, a sneak preview of the next thing coming out, it is so hard not to watch it ahead of time. Just so you know, whoa, the battle is real. I'm going to go back one more time because I want to give some love here to, again, those textures that are happening behind the lead. I love the way they're so quickly switching up every time, and the way that Lane is shifting these beats underneath. It's so cool. I love the way he fills it in different ways, and I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of his beatboxing.
Hellfire, there's fire in my skin.
You hear all these kind of extra sounds in there that are very organic in his beatboxing, even though we have these big hits on each end, which you can hear have a little more production in them to make them sound even more like a drum kit. But then all of that stuff in between that's subtle, but it makes it just feel more human, which is why beatboxing is, I think, such a special thing. It's percussive in nature, but it's percussive human, which is not normally a percussive sound. Anyhow, I'm nerding again. We'll go back. It's cool.
Like fire, hellfire, there's fire in my skin.
I like that side up. I didn't hear it for the first time.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who set the flame. It's not my fault. If in God's plan, He made the devil so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria.
Ooh, sorry, Jay. That was really cool. Caesar, the way that Caesar was going crazy high, then came down. He's just playing around with different octaves in this and really delivered emotion that was higher despite dropping down an octave, which would normally lose energy unless you're Jeff. I'm going to go back again because there's so many cool things in here. One of the things is I could swear that somehow we got a castanet in there in that beatboxing. I have no idea how Lane created that sound. I was just like, what? You were a castanet, man? That's cool.
It's not my fault.
Right there. It's like it's a tongue click. Oh my goodness. Make weird noises, guys.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame.
I feel like he could be the entire rhythm section for Carmen someday.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who set the flame. It's not my fault. If in God's plan, He made the devil so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria. Don't let this siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone. Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell. Or else let her be mine and mine alone. Minister Fro.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. We have a dark figure. What's this? I'm guessing this is a figure. Anyhow, hopefully we'll figure out what this dark figure is soon, and maybe it's just something that I stopped at funny that presented itself as a dark figure, and it's a weird. I'm excited for whatever is behind that. Anyhow, I'm going to come back and talk about sort of the differences and the timbres that we're hearing. Timbres means sort of the color of the voice, right? So it's just fascinating to me how each of these guys has their own very signature sound, but then they're able to bring them together, and they can have a blend sometimes that's incredible, or they can be singing something together and you can still pick out their different voices in it very intentionally. It's just beautiful how they'll hand it off and fade into the distance at times, or come forward to take the line. And this has to do, I think, with them embracing a lot of the natural timbre and natural strings of each voice.
Siren cast her spell.
Let's go back a little more.
It's not my fault.
Oh, this is actually, I'll go back to
It
this.
is the gypsy girl, the witch who set the flame.
So one of the things I've always loved about Ellie's voice is there's a certain like graininess in his sound. He has crazy drive. Like there's so much energy and punch in his sound. And then there's also this this graininess that's naturally there, and it gives it a certain like heavy metal rock timbre to me a lot of times. So it sounds like just a little bit dirtier in tone than Caesar's, and he'll often get a slightly more angelic tone going on top.
I'm not to blame.
Right?
It is the gypsy girl, the witch who set the flame.
Right? There's just like a tiny bit of rasp. That's what I was looking for.
It's not my fault. If in God's plan.
And so Caesar can get that raspy edge sometimes, but his natural tone is going to have just a little more pop to it, like a little bit more towards a Bruno Mars kind of sound.
It's not my fault. If in God's plan, He made the devil so much stronger than a man.
I love hearing him go into his lows there. I think that's it. It's just such a cool decision.
Devil so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria. Don't let this siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone.
So Jay, he's just such a perfect compliment to everyone here. And obviously used to sing full time with VoicePlay, right? And now we have a lot of videos featuring him still, because he is such a perfect compliment. He's got a roundness in the back of his sound that is then laser focused. If there was one singer here who I think naturally has like the most like more towards operatic kind of sound, even though Jeff, when he drops super low into his bass, sounds like that, and the rest of his voice, he goes much more towards pop. Jay naturally has that roundness and then that buzz focus that reminds me more of that classical approach. And there's so much freedom and there's like an extra chamber that I hear back there. And that's what gives him a little bit of a beefier sound overall, but it still is able to get that brightness, get some of that cut with the overtones and the resonance in his focus here. So he's able to cut forward, even if he's on a lower note, and really shine as a lead.
Cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone.
Right, he has so much extra buzz.
Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell.
I don't think I really need to speak too much about Jeff's timbre other than saying it's like super deep and incredible warmth in the sound, especially in his lowers.
Esmeralda. And let her taste the
Huge
flowers.
contrast between those two.
Else let her be mine and mine alone.
Was Caesar playing like a little drum or a guitar there? I heard a little extra like counter melody. That was awesome.
Let her taste the flowers of hell. Or else let her be mine and mine
I love that.
Minister Frollo the gypsy has escaped.
What?
She's nowhere in the cathedral. I'm afraid she's gone.
But how? Never mind. Get out, you idiot. I'll find her. I'll find her and I'll find her if I have to burn down all of Paris. Hellfire!
Who was that? So if I'm doing this kind of thing, this is really my first time, so I couldn't go back and watch all the behind the scenes things. Shoot, I wish I knew who that was. That was a fun cameo, I guess, by somebody.
Never mind. Get out, you
I
idiot.
like the percussion line here a bunch too.
I'll find her and I'll find her if I have to burn down all of Paris. Hellfire! Dark fire! Now, Gypsy, it's your turn.
That was a cool video effect. I just gotta point out here, fire. They are being so clear about when they're shifting to the second vowel in the diphthong and the R coloration. Fire is a difficult word to coordinate timing on with a big group of people. So if you think about just the I, which is the vowel in it, I is a diphthong. It's taking an A and an E vowel, combining it into one sound. Phi. And then is an R-colored vowel, which is such a frustrating vowel for so many singers because often the R coloration can get into what many people think is like an uglier sound. They're being extremely deliberate on their timing of this every time.
Idiot. I'll find her. I'll find her and I'll find her if I have to burn down all of Paris. Hellfire! Dark fire! Now, Gypsy, it's your turn. Choose me, oh, you're tired. Be mine or you will burn.
God, that's a great top note. Sometimes Ellie gets up there and just squeals out these notes that feel almost unreal.
Or you will burn.
Right? It's insane. It feels like that note should have to flip into falsetto, but it's like he's just lining up the sound and then able to go crazy high without really flipping over. Wow.
Choose me, oh, you're tired. Be mine or you will burn. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me. But she will be mine or she
Nice. I was curious where that one was going to go. I was like, is this going to go up? Is it going to go down? I don't know. But I want to come back to this section. In the original, I feel like it loses energy in this section. It's what I would say it's my main complaint really about the original. I think it's incredible. It's so dark and lustful for a Disney song, and it's freaking legendary. I've heard incredible metal covers of it. I think because it is so dark and has just a different tinge to it than we would normally expect from Disney, it's something that creates fantastic ideas for cover songs. But this part just always has had this feeling of dropping in energy. And there, of course, you have Kyrie eleison that's happening in the background, and that's essentially saying, Lord, have mercy on us. Some Latin bringing in that church feeling of the Notre Dame. And I like that we have that echo and we have Jeff singing the lead. But the thing that's making this part work for me in their version, work better than the original, is the way that Lane is filling the sound. I felt like it needed to continue to sizzle a little bit more in the original. And he is giving us so many extra sounds in that vocal percussion that it makes it continually feel like the flames are just sputtering. They're eager to get out.
Choose me, your fire, be mine or you will burn.
That's so good. Here we go. Right. The vocal percussion here is so great. That sort of double hit, that's really making it a fun time signature too, or it gives us a distorted sense of time with that double hit. It's almost like a double down beat. Oof, my goodness, my words. One more time. That feels like a double down beat. This whole section feels much better than the original to me because of the way that Lane is enlivening it with so many cool additions. That's cool. There's that fire coordination. What a great use of Jeff's range there at the end. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was really hoping that they'd go back down at the end, but I heard them going up and up and up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll have an amazing up moment, but delivery again with the lows. Gosh, rumbles. I am so grateful for all of the creativity that VoicePlay is continually bringing to their songs. It would be easy for a group like them to start to feel a little old or a little bit, just a little bit boring in some way because they're releasing so much all the time. And instead, what I hear is this continual raising of the bar, this intricacy in their sound, this increasingly fantastic writing for the strengths of the voices in their ensemble. And I love every time I get to hear a song covered by them. If you want to see a ton of analysis of VoicePlay and really just maybe barely understand how much I love the music that they're making, you can check out this playlist over here. Don't forget to support them on Patreon and also just go check out their music on YouTube. They are incredible, and may you fall more in love with music every day.